Welcome to Editors Unplugged. Pragya Kaushika joins us. Zaka Jacob, our managing editor, senior executive editor, Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan with us. And we are counting down to the parliament session that gets underway in a few hours from now. And Pragya, first questions first. Are we looking at a super NDA as many people are calling it?
Absolutely. NCPI, which is a breakaway faction of TMC, they are going to be seating with the NDA, is what we're given to understand. And not just that, there are 6 UBT MPs who have jumped the ship, and in fact, they have joined Shiv Sena. And we're also looking at the talks that the government is having right now with various Indie alliance partners that they call. They're also in talks with DMK. They already had a talk with Samajwadi Party. Pranesh, the very interesting thing this time is to see how, they are going to alienate and isolate Congress in this parliament. Because, there used to be a group, there used to be a strength of that particular opposition when they come together on any subject, any topic. But this time it looks like that it is a divided house, even the opposition coalition. So government is definitely going to take advantage of that.
We were talking about DMK. What do you think the DMK will do? Because, the DMK also has apart from the domestic compulsions, the political compulsions, they also have a point to prove to the Congress party after what the Congress did.
Yeah, so there's a sort of conflicting political interest there. But I think after Stalin's address to the MPs, the virtual address that he had earlier this week, I think it's very difficult to take a position where the DMK is seen openly supporting this bill, because he used words like, federalism will always come first for us, the interests of the state will always come first for us. So after having said all of that, to support the bill would be counterproductive. And also, most importantly, if the DMK supports the bill, a BJP brought bill, it just opens the way for Vijay to attack them from now to 2029, because Vijay does not have any stake in this parliament. He does not have a single MP. So the DMK is seen as, siding with the BJP on an issue such as this, which all political parties in Tamil Nadu have said is anti-federal, anti-South, anti-the state, so on and so forth. And the biggest political party is siding with such a bill. Then it opens the floodgates for Vijay to attack the DMK, through and through. So I don't think Stalin, politically at least, would risk that. I think, look, the government, Pragya says the government is confident about the numbers. Obviously, the smaller parties, NCP, Sharad Pawar, Sena UBT, and then they've got a big chunk of the TMC. But it boils down to two big regional parties and what they will do. Samajwadi Party, they've got 37, that's a big number, and obviously 22 of the DMK. These two parties have to either abstain or some of them have to support.
That's interesting because, if the government can't get parties to vote, it is about people who are present and voting. So,
Absolutely. In fact, abstaining from vote is one way of trying to say that we are not supporting this party, but yes, we are also we don't want to participate in this process to try and take the moral high ground. Doesn't really work like that, because at the end of the day in Tamil Nadu, particularly as he was saying, if you look at ideologically the TVK and the DMK, they are not very different. So will DMK want to cede that space to the TVK, as Zaka is asking? I think is going to be the biggest consideration, because there will be repercussions, especially for as emotive a bill as delimitation, where the representation, the proportional representation, various arguments that have been made back and forth, they're all out there in the political domain. That will end up, playing out very, very differently if the DMK openly supports it. Even if they abstain, there is always that risk of Vijay hammering on that issue, particularly when Stalin has taken, if you remember, in the run-up to the Tamil Nadu Assembly polls, Stalin took a very hardline maximalist position against that, and they've always done so, to be fair. But the point is, now if you go 180 degree or you're not seen firmly opposing that, that will have huge political repercussions.
I mean, he burnt copies of the bill.
Exactly.
You can't have those images and then supporting the bill.
Less than a week to go for the polls. I think 10 days to go before the polls.
But I think the government is also aware of it, and who knows, they might give them a face saver, a deal.
But here's the other side. But here's the other side. The interesting thing is this: that DMK is not a stranger to the BJP. During Vajpayee government, they were very much part of that alliance. So don't rule out a huge change as far as a possibility as far as DMK is concerned, because it has to also look at its own survival. If it's not at power in Tamil Nadu, can it find a way to be in power, or at least share power in New Delhi? I think that's the kind of Hobson's choice that MK Stalin has at this point.
Let's ask Pragya, does the government have, has the government prepared a deal, a sweet deal for the DMK to come on board?
Everyone. In fact, just now there is a group of ministers ahead of Parliament session, and in fact, Mr. Amit Shah has in that particular meeting said, "Please be assured, we have 2/3 of the majority." So that is the confidence he has exhibited in this particular group of ministers. Having said that, very interestingly, even last time, government was very sure that they have DMK support, and they were very sure they have Samajwadi Party support. But when they did not support, government said that this is only and only because of the Congress. So even last time, the government was of the view that both the parties were on board because they have nothing to, have oppose against women reservation. This time also they're saying that, but they also know if they don't support openly because of the political compulsions, abstaining is, one of the options which they may resort to, and this is very likely. Remember, last time also there were only 528 present and voting.
Right.
So out of 541, this time they have 540 MPs in Lok Sabha, but last time there were 528. No one questioned where are the other MPs. So half of them, there are 7 independents. There are parties like JMM who are ready to come on board. In fact, government is saying they are in talks with RJD also. So in fact, they're reaching out to each and everyone, and they know, the situation and political situation is such that even NCP is the statement that we had seen on
Pragya is
Sule.
saying, the Congress party is virtually isolated, and we have a situation where political questions are being asked of Rahul Gandhi's, absence, while the government was doing the homework ahead of the, Parliament session. The Congress.
No, so see, I think the Congress is approaching this from a different point of view, that they realize that the biggest catchment area today, as politics stand today in the country, the biggest catchment area for the Congress is actually South, right? They're in power in 3 out of the 5 states. They're in power in Kerala, in Karnataka, and Telangana. And they're, in fact, in power in Tamil Nadu also, but a small, minor coalition partner. So technically 4 out of 5. The only state they don't have any stake in is actually Andhra Pradesh. So if you look at, the almost 100 MPs that they have, a large number of them come from the southern states. So their calculation is we can't go back in 2029 to those very same southern states and say that, we let you down or we didn't safeguard your interests. So they are focused on that. The problem I foresee is the timing of this. For Samajwadi Party and its 37 MPs to be supporting or even abstaining, as Madhav said, if you abstain, you're de facto supporting the bill, right? You're helping the government's case because the numbers come down. If those MPs do that, in like 4 months, you have elections in Uttar Pradesh. I mean, this is a point that every other opposition party there will tom-tom. BSP will tom-tom, Owaisi will tom-tom. All other opposition parties will tom-tom, saying that, look, Samajwadi and BJP have an underhand deal. Akhilesh's biggest calling card today, 6 months before an election, is, if not BJP, who? Yeah. It's only him. There's nobody else.
There's another solution also, a possibility. I don't know if DMK is actually thinking about this or how it will play out. But the other possibility is if DMK officially says that we are against the bill, and a chunk of the MLAs, say about a third of them, vote against the bill, but the rest of them then say that we are not going to participate. So it's similar like what happened in Karnataka, where H.D. Devagowda claimed that my son Kumaraswamy has split my party, the JDS. He has gone ahead and gone and tied up with the BJP for public consumption. But end of the day, when it comes to power sharing, when it comes to what happens as far as the bill is concerned, I don't know. But this is just one possibility that I'm also talking about that could possibly be there.
So the bigger picture is the opposition stands, as divided as they have been. So what happens to opposition unity? Because, session after session, the government does these, backroom talks, etc., to get people on board, even its, worst detractors. But the Congress as the, as the fulcrum of that opposition is rudderless.
Absolutely. And in fact, if you remember, there was a talk about the leadership in the India Alliance. So that was much in question. Now, many of the parties are thinking, because many of them are regional satraps, they're thinking about their future. Samajwadi Party will think about their future. And this is also an opportunity for Samajwadi Party to show Congress, look, we do not follow you. You are not our leader. So we will decide whether we want to vote against it or we want to vote for it. And remember, women has emerged as a very strong voting bloc. Not just for the BJP, and every party is wooing that particular bloc now.
True.
If Samajwadi Party stands against it, it will lose some sort of base and face in Uttar Pradesh election. So they are also in a dilemma whether half of them will abstain, half of them will vote against it, or whether whole of the Samajwadi Party will abstain or support it. So this is the dilemma that these regional parties are facing right now, and no one wants to, remember, Pranesh, they do not want to be seen anti-women. And
But there's
BJP is
a
ready.
problem there. You look at, Akhilesh's speech from, in April when the debate was going on, or you look at Dimple Yadav's speech. All opposition parties at that time were asking a very simple question. You passed women's reservation in 2023. You implemented it. Why are you linking women's reservation to delimitation? The government till date has not given a convincing explanation for why you're linking these two bills. What is the reason? What is the justification or reasoning for why women's reservation is linked to delimitation? One has nothing to do with the
But
other.
having said that, it can also be that face saver that we are talking about, that because these things are clubbed, if the Samajwadi Party does indeed go and back the bill, then it can say, it does not have to say delimitation. It can say
You supported the women's reservation.
No, but the other technical point is that, when KC Venugopal told Amit Shah on the floor of the House that why don't you include 50% in the draft of the bill, you've not done so.
Absolutely.
And perhaps rightly so, because there's no written assurance. Now if the government comes and does that, then what is the argument that Congress
the
has? Will they
government
again
then
shift the
said-
goalpost?
Yeah, Shah
Or
had
will they
said
be
that,
forced
give me
to?
1 hour
He
and-
said that. You're right. But I'm saying that if that now comes in, then what is the argument left for the Congress party to oppose the bill?
Yeah.
That is a big question. But I think there are 2 or 3 other things that we have to consider. This is a session that we're going in where there are multiple issues beyond the bill itself. Look at what's happening outside. For instance, whether we are talking about the students' protest on CBSE NEET, whether we're talking about the Ram Temple Chanda Chori scam. There are multiple E20, for instance. There are multiple people's issues which I think the opposition is going to be very, very serious about in terms of taking it up. For the Samajwadi Party, the Chanda Chori is of course a big issue because it is in Uttar Pradesh. So they're certainly going to pick it up. At the same time, the Congress is harping and talking a lot and at least banking a lot on youth-related issues. So therefore, these education issues are something that Congress, even though it's ironically not there in Jantar Mantar on ground, Rahul Gandhi hasn't visited that particular spot, but it is somewhere or the other going to take up these issues on the floor of the House and Parliament. So how much of disruption will happen? How much of debate will actually take place in the House? All of this is also
But I
something that
just
you have to factor in.
one thing to add to what Madhav is saying, that for opposition to pick up issues, look at Ram Mandir for instance. Akhilesh, obviously because it suits him ahead of elections. Rahul Gandhi has not been at the forefront of that
The
tirade
Chanda Chori
against the
issue, yeah.
government. Even on ethanol, E20, because their ministers had gone on record to say कि हम करके दिखाएंगे. So that leaves the Congress very little elbow room.
No, I also think, somewhere, you can blame him for inconsistency, but on the students issue, to be fair, I think the Congress was the first party to pick that up, NEET and so on. I remember the day after NEET got leaked, the NSUI had this protest outside the Education Ministry. I remember a lot of those guys got water cannoned and all of that. So even before CJP and all of that became a reality, even before Sonam Wangchuk, these guys took it up. The problem is then Rahul Gandhi went off on a 3-week vacation.
That's the
and then they forgot about the issue. But look, I want to come back to this delimitation issue because I think at least the sense of the opposition in the last session when it failed to, when the government failed to get the 2/3 majority, was that this is a ploy. This is a ploy to try and divide the opposition. More than divide the opposition, this is a ploy to redraw the electoral map of India in a way that it permanently, favors the BJP. Now, with many of these opposition parties, for whatever reason, and I believe a fundamental reason was 2 big states where regional parties were ruling. Bengal, the TMC was ruling, and Tamil Nadu, where the DMK was ruling. Those 2 parties, their grip on power has been broken. TMC after 15 years and DMK.
Broken and how?
Yeah, and broken and how, right? Those parties themselves have been broken. So I think that has played a big factor that the assembly election results have changed this whole dynamic. Today, the government is in an advantageous position and they will.
And not
push
just
through
in
this
terms
bill.
of number, also psychological.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To
Dent
come to
that-
power for the
yeah,
first time in
yeah.
a state like Bengal is a huge thing for the BJP. I think that's changed the mood and the momentum, even in the treasury benches. And they feel this time they have the numbers on their side and they can push through with this bill.
And they have another 2 years. If they push through
Yeah.
constitutional amendment, there's so many things that
And
they can
after
do beyond delimitation itself.
Absolutely. And after TMC, I think there is a sense of fear among other parties of opposition, like NCP for that matter, Samajwadi for that matter. Remember, there were a lot of speculation that half of the MPs are going away from SP and joining BJP. So, you may put blame on BJP, but the fact is there is some sort of discomfort within the MPs also because they want to be in power.
Political survival.
Absolutely, political survival. And that is why they also, the heads of these parties also know that there can be some time when they will leave us. So what will be our future? We cannot be Mamata Banerjee, in our own party. So this is also a future, and this is also giving government a
Now tell us,
confidence
what have you
without telling.
picked up? Surprise क्या है जो मंडे को या मंडे से जो सेशन शुरू होगा उसमें दिखेगा? थोड़ा
So,
हिंट तो दे सकती हैं आप.
So government is right now ready with the strategy. They have already spoken to all the ministers. They have already spoken to their allies about how to counter. They also know what are the kind of issues that each and every party is in the opposition are going to pick up. So they're ready with their strategy. They're ready with the answers, and they're also saying that we need to be focused only on bills that we need to get passed, apart from the ones that are listed. FCRA and etc. 3 important bills: delimitation, women reservation, one nation, one election. Push comes to shove. Government this time believes that they have 2/3. They want to push for one nation, one election also. So when I spoke to Mr. PP Chaudhary, he said that our report is almost ready. We have time till 2027, but the fact is that we have collated everything. We have extensively discussed this particular bill. And Pranesh, if these 3 bills are going to pass, then this is going to change how India votes and the history of
2029,
democracy,
we are looking
Indian
at
democracy.
simultaneous elections.
Absolutely. And not just that, women reservation will also mean that you have 850 numbers of MPs there. So what government has also, I think NCP also understood, Ms. Supriya Sule also said that 50% of the clause we want. That is a sense enough to say that we are supporting it, not outrightly coming and say that we will support it, but this is a way to say that we are going to support it. Remember, Amit Shah also said in the parliament that, give me 1 hour, I'll bring that in writing. That was also demand by DMK, not just other parties and Congress. DMK also was saying that. This time they'll bring it in 50%. They also would want southern parties not to feel that they are, at the receiving end as far as population is concerned. So it seems fair to have 50% hike in every
across the board.
Across the board.
Look, I think the opposition last time also, as K.C. Venugopal said on the floor of the House, if that's put in the text of the bill, in the draft of the bill, then the government is bound to implement it. See, the opposition's worry is also that, okay, once you've raised the size of the Lok Sabha, once you've done your census and then post the delimitation, they fear that the redrawing of the map, the redrawing of the constituencies will be done in a way where it permanently favors the BJP. That is something that they are most concerned about.
But isn't that fear without reason? Because a 50% increase, suits everyone. And
no, but they're saying, look at the example of Assam, for example. You redrew the boundaries of the constituencies. Their allegation is you redrew it in a way that it permanently favors, the larger number of constituencies.
How it
permanently
happens
favor
is
the
they are, of course, raising the issue of gerrymandering, but the point is that as per the Indian law and as per the constitution, there has to be a delimitation commission that comprises certain members from the election commission, judicial members, etc. And they study it, look at the population. The idea is to have a similar sort of, it can't be exactly same, obviously, but a similar sort of number as far as each seat is concerned. So in cities, for instance, if there are 2 seats, if the population is increased drastically, they may make it 3 seats.
Yeah.
If there is a north and south, they may add a central. But since that happens in Bangalore about 15 years ago. So that's the constitutional scheme of things. And what is actually very interesting about the delimitation process is that it cannot be challenged under law, because otherwise it's endless.
Yeah.
So that's already worked into the constitution. So while the opposition's fears may not be completely unfounded, the point is there's no other way to do it. The only legal and constitutional method to do this is the delimitation commission, which has been done in Jammu and Kashmir. There were problems there, there were complaints there, but unfortunately or fortunately, that's the way our constitution works.
so
But
this
also
session will
opposition
be in many
parties-
ways make or break.
Yeah, absolutely, Pranesh. But opposition parties also did it, at their own whims and fancies.
Yeah.
Remember Sheila Dikshit when
Yes,
delimitation was done in
You're
Delhi?
right.
There were a lot of complaints by BJP, but no one heard that. So this is also an excuse, but they're saying that this is a fair process. Look, you can go to delimitation commission and the chairperson and the committee, and you can submit your, whatever
answers.
complaints you have. See
So
if they
as
can
things
listen to you or
stand,
not.
what is your number in Lok Sabha for the NDA and in the Rajya Sabha?
See, if you take 298 from previous voting pattern, add 20 to that, 6 of UBT also to that, and NCP, if you add also, there are, I think, 324 they already have, but 540 ka 2/3 is 360.
360,
So you need more people. So they are already in talks with DMK. Either DMK can abstain. They are also in talks with Samajwadi Party. If those two parties can be managed, then they don't need anyone else. There are 7 independents also. There are many parties who have 2, 4, 7 MPs, and in fact they are also in talks with Aam Aadmi Party for that matter. We have been given to understand there are 3 MPs. So how Rajya Sabha they have already joined BJP.
Samajwadi Party abstains. What happens to the UP alliance of Congress and Samajwadi Party?
So they are not leaving any party out of this, because the ultimate objective is to get the bill passed.
No, so while the
Government do
government is
not
doing
want any.
this, what is the opposition doing? I mean, if the Congress wants to play the big brother, वो क्या कर रहे हैं? वो strategize नहीं कर रहे हैं? Are they not reaching out?
What can Congress do with Samajwadi Party? What can they offer? Then it would mean that Samajwadi Party is the big brother in the alliance. If Congress then approach, TMC has only left 8 MPs.
No, I get
Obviously.
that, but beyond the day-to-day politics, the larger opposition unity, उसका क्या होगा? फिर तो ये session के
No,
बाद
but in a way, I mean, in the 2024 election, somebody was telling me, this one opposition MP was saying this. The India Alliance at that time could not project Rahul Gandhi as the face against Modi. Ultimately, I believe that voters vote for the face. Chehra kaun hai? They vote for the face. So you have Mr. Modi as the face of the NDA. You have to have someone as the face of the India Alliance. Rahul Gandhi, while is the leader of the largest opposition party, none of the others wanted to give him that position.
Yeah.
None of them wanted to say that he is the face on his
constant
face.
bickering, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, because these regional satraps have been cut to size, I foresee a situation where in 2029, you may not even see parties like the DMK, TMC, and others, even Samajwadi to an extent, actually be part of the India Alliance. You would have a multi-cornered contest where you have NDA and Mr. Modi and the BJP leading it. You'll have the Congress plus some allies like Vijay, for example, who they're in government with, some smaller allies, and you will have a third coalition of parties like TMC, SP, who knows, maybe JMM, I don't know.
But will it be advantage opposition or advantage the government?
No,
Obviously,
it'll
advantage NDA, because
Yeah,
if the
because
opposition
the
is split, then
opposition
there's no fight.
Yeah. So that could, 2029, I don't see will be an India Alliance versus NDA kind of a fight.
But if that happens, is Rahul Gandhi ready or his party ready, with a plan, strategy to project him as the alternative to Modi?
Well, the Congress has been wanting and has been for the last 10 years. The problem is the people of India also need to buy into it.
No, but
They're
the
not.
inconsistency that you were talking about, like for instance, you said that Rahul attaches himself or attaches great priority to, Gen Z issues, students protest, after a couple of posts on social media and maybe a soundbite here and there, then, people
No,
say,
you have to see through an issue. The problem is, like I said, they were early to take up that issue, and rightfully so. I mean, I believe that lakhs of students, every time a paper leaks, you're basically playing with their future. You're duping them, right? And it was fair that somebody picked it up and made an issue of. In fact, he was to give him credit. He was the first person who said Mr. Pradhan should resign. No other politician said this at the time that he did. The problem is, you've got to see the issue through. You can't after a week then say, okay, I'm going off to London or I'm going off to wherever, and then come back after 3 weeks, by which time somebody else has taken up that issue. Somebody else has run away with that issue. That's the problem.
अब लंदन की बात हो ही रही तो सरकार को तो पता होगा कहाँ गए थे राहुल गांधी, क्या कर रहे थे, बता दीजिए।
Sarkar knows everything, but Sarkar also says that he ditches his own security personnel, so they don't go into private details. But they also obviously they know where he goes, and therefore we are seeing these pictures from social media. Which cafe he has visited, and the interesting part, Panesh, is that every time, remember, Prime Minister used to say that Rahul Gandhi goes out just ahead of monsoon session. There is some kind of agenda against India, whenever there is session, irrespective whether it's monsoon, winter, there is some kind of foreign agenda, and it becomes a huge movement in the country. This time Rahul Gandhi has gone out. Let's see what agenda comes in, because Prime Minister always maintain that this is the cycle that he has observed for past few days, and we are given to understand that there's a lot of I think there are a lot of protests by the opposition parties in at least the first week, and then government will try and get all the bills passed amid this chaos if they are not ready for discussion. This is how the monsoon session looks like right now.
So it
So a lot of
promises to
chaos.
be
A lot of
a
chaos,
stormy
lot of disruptions.
session, and we
Stormy
promise to have the widest and the most exhaustive coverage of that monsoon session of Parliament on Times Now. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Do let us know. Thanks for watching.